Hi there, it's Sam from pootles.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have a card box tutorial for you. This is a box that uses one sheet of our standard A4 cardstock here in the UK, but it's been designed to hold our standard cards. So I've only got one in there and an envelope, but you would fit at least half a dozen in there, you know, kind of depending on the embellishments. Let me pop that out of the way. But it was designed to be able to be given as a gift because, you know, those of us who make cards, we do like to give them away, and sometimes there's just not enough birthdays, anniversaries and babies being born in a year. So kind of giving the project away as a gift as a whole is just as nice as actually making the cards. So I wanted to show you how to make this. As you can see, it closes with the little buttons here on the front. You could make it with magnets, you could make it with ribbons to pull it close. But I'm going to make it with buttons today. So let me pop that out to one side. And I've got a piece of cardstock here. It is our standard A4, so it's 8 1/4 by 11 3/4 of an inch. The scoring is pretty simple. The first score line comes at 4 inches, and I'll give you the metric, as promised, as always. 4 inches, 4 7/8 of an inch, 9 3/8 of an inch, and 10 2/8 of an inch. And in metric, I'm really sorry, it's a bit weird, the metric measurements, but it's 10.2, 12.5, 23.8 and 26. So you would use the Stampin trimmer, which has got the millimetre dimensions on measurements on it, so that you'd be able to get, pinpoint accuracy. And then turn it around, and the scoring again comes at 7/8 of an inch and 7 3/8 of an inch, and in metric that's 2.2 and 18.7. So move this out of the way, and the trimming is quite simple. These two that are here, you've got a box and a rectangle. We're going to lose both of those, so you just cut those away on both sides. And actually, I probably should have folded and burnished first. I will stop in the proceedings and I will quickly fold and burnish, because I forgot. Oops, getting carried away. So fold your score lines, burnish them. This is the pistachio pudding cardstock I've used, so it's quite a thick cardstock, this one, so you do need to work it quite well. All the sides. There we go. And then we'll resume the cutting. Anyway, coming back to here, the little square here, cut and nick a little bit out. And same round here. And then that's the cutting done. The way we're going to fold this is going to be our front part here. So this one that's got, no little score lines at the top, this is our front. So we're going to fold it up and glue it down. So I've got my liquid, whoops, thump the tripod, got my liquid glue. So these sections here, these are the bits that you're going to put your glue on. Oh, I think that was maybe far too much. Getting over enthusiastic today. We'll stick that on the other side. And then you fold these little tabs in and bring up the sides and just make it all match neatly, which apparently I can't do today. There we go. So that's that side, and then bring these ones up as well, just to get it to fit together. Just, oops, I think I've held that for a few seconds longer. There we go. Right. Oh no, that's popped out that side. Oh, I'm too keen today. I'm too keen. There we go. Stuck now. And I've got some designer series paper. Now this one I made using the new Sweater Weather and Blushing Bride buttons and chevron ribbon. But I'm now going to use our Seasons of Style, which is in the new seasonal catalogue. These pieces measure 6 1/4 inches by 1.25 by 1 1/4 inches and 6 1/4 by 2 3/4, which in metric is 15.5 by 2.8 and 15.5 by 7. And I've chosen this because it just seems to fit nicely with this pistachio pudding, and although that's not actually the colour that's recommended to go with it, it suggests the old olive, which is this darker green on the other side. I just liked the pistachio pudding with that little bit of the check that just pops out. So I'm going to line this up, and you position it closer to the bottom than, you know, trying to centralise it in the middle. And the same here. Position this one on the top. If I can. There we go. And I want to put some ribbon around the top. And again, from the catalogue, I've got the cherry cobbler. This is a 1-inch ribbon, and it's lovely. And it's got bound edges as well. I'm not sure how well you can see that. It's got this little white edge. Look at this ink all over my hands. The joys of being a crafter. So I'm just going to pop that on there. I'm just going to use snail just for speed today. But you know, use something a little bit stronger, maybe glue dots or something like that. I'm just using that for speed, as I say. And I'm going to bring some more that goes all the way round. Do you know, I've picked up the wrong scissors to be cutting ribbon with. It doesn't matter. Not for today. And then tie a knot. I'm going to try and tie a knot. There we go. And then let me get some better scissors. And angle that. There we go. Much better scissors, the big ones. So, and then the buttons. The buttons are from the colour collections, and these are the biggest buttons. I've just put a little bit of the cherry cobbler baker's twine, but I want to mount it up onto it's some cardstock behind it. So these little bits that are the side bits that you popped out, they are just about the right size. So that's the top section, you know, from the corners here. So 2 of those. And then that means that I can use my glue dots now to stick the buttons to those, and that just gives it a little something, you know, so the button will stick to the cardstock, and the cardstock will stick permanently in place. My teeth and tongue all twisted here. So the cardstock will stay in place, and you're only going to be lifting the button when you're positioning it. And what I found was that you've got the 4 little holes here. If you line the top 2 up with the top of the designer series paper, it's just about perfectly positioned that you can slip your lid part underneath and it's not going to come flying out, although typically I think it probably is today. I don't think I burnished well enough. Oops. Let's try that over here. Is that going to sit underneath? Oh, it is. There we go. I did burnish enough. And actually, I think I want another. I think I want a glue dot under here. So a paper piercer. It just seems a little bit. There we go. Right, and then a sentiment. Now this, because you know, I wanted to send this out as a gift set. You know, I would want to give it as a gift set. I kind of thought that thinking of you would cover all bases that you might want to put inside it. You know, you could put a birthday or a load of thank you cards in or something like that. So I've got cherry cobbler, I've got thinking of you from the Teeny Tiny Sentiments, which I've put down somewhere and I now can't find, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to stamp one of those. I've got my word window punch, and then I've got my modern label punch. Oops. Sponge the edges of both of those. Look at this. Let's move everything out of the way. Quickly go around the edges. Same on this one. And dimensionals on the back of everything. A little edge here that can go on there. And then some regular size ones on. Hit Dropsy today. And that could sit on there maybe. And look, it's determined to pop up. Definitely burnish really, really well. Oh, I can see why. It's getting caught there. There we go. Burnish well though. Burnishing is the key with this. But there you go. Anyway, a box that is perfectly sized to hold, I'd say maybe half a dozen cards and envelopes. Great to give as a gift, and you change it up to whatever colours you fancy. I liked the cherry cobbler with the pistachio pudding, but I equally love the sweater weather. The chocolate chip here with the blushing bride. But do let me know what you think and what colours maybe you would have put together. And I hope to hear from you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.